Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Greg McAfee Show, where we discuss steps to successful entrepreneurship, how to take your business to new heights, and ultimately follow your dreams. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 things you must change today to get to tomorrow. 3 things you must change today to get to where you want to be tomorrow. The first thing is work on quitting bad and useless habits and start forming new ones. Now, when we discuss the future, we often ask, what's next? And I can tell you that Dave Sullivan was a great mentor of mine. And when everyone talks and hopes to get back to normal, you know, we had COVID and we had everything going on right now, and everybody said, I just want to get back to normal. And Dave would often say, there is no normal, there's only next. And I like that so much. In my previous training room, I put it up. I'm going to show you a picture here, but I put it up on the wall above my whiteboard right in front, and I stood right there and taught all the time. There is no normal. There's only next. So the first thing is you've got to work on quitting. I've got to work on quitting bad habits or useless habits and start forming new habits. And you know, breaking habits is hard. I mean, if it was easy, you know, everybody that started a diet would stick with it, and we'd all lose weight, and we'd all keep it off. Okay, but that's definitely not the case. I know it's not with me. I've lost hundreds of pounds over the years on diets and gained hundreds of pounds back. That's a tough one. I'm continuing to work on it. But that's a habit of eating comfort foods. What do I do when we have a big sale, and we've been doing it for years? We eat. That's what we do. I don't drink. I don't party. I eat, and I eat well, okay? Hal Elrod said this: let today be the day you give up who you've been for who you can become. And that's what we're talking about, giving up bad habits and taking on new habits. Psychologists define habits as acquired behaviors or thought patterns which we repeat so often that they just become automatic. We develop habits because they free up our brains to do other things that require our focused attention, and then they can cause an endorphin rush, feel-good hormones. Most are only temporary, so we go right back, automatically we go right back to that habit to experience it again. We want that rush. And the good news, folks, is that we can break bad habits. I mean, all of us have broke some sort of bad habit. We can do it. It just takes a little time and effort. But it's proven if we take on new habits, they will replace the old negative habits with the positive habits, such as waking up on time, waking up early, help us to live and work more efficiently. But bad habits have the opposite effect. And bad habits can ruin our lives. They will definitely keep us from getting to tomorrow of who we want to be. And Aristotle said we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And number 2, figure out who you want to be. And then create it and make it happen. We've got to think, in order to do that, we've got to think broadly. But be yourself and be your own change agent. I mean, we've got to be our own change agent. What's that mean? That means that we're constantly pushing ourselves for change to improve, to break the bad habits, to take on new positive habits. We need to adapt to drive our own evolution. You know, we either evolve, we either change, or we die. You know, we either change or we stay status quo. Or we either change or other companies come in and eat us up. So evolve or die. And that's fact. Nothing's easy. Again, nothing's easy. This isn't easy. If it was easy, I wouldn't be talking about it. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. To evolve toward the future you want. Listen to this. To evolve toward the future you want, you need to actively adapt in a consistent and persistent manner. This means creating a rhythm where you are constantly doing meaningful, future-focused work that will help you shape the business and the life you want then. Your future self. What's that future self look like? And what's the future mean? Is it 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year? Yes, it actually is. It's all the above. The future is tomorrow. And no, we don't have a magic wand, and we can't see out there what exactly we're going to look like or do or act like or be, but we can start seeing it in here, and we can start planning in here. And that's what it's all about. And we'll be ahead of the game tomorrow. This means creating a rhythm where you're constantly doing meaningful, future-focused work that helps you, it shapes you and the business you want and the life you want. The progress you make in doing this purposeful work will generate motivation that will in return make and increase and build the skills necessary to be better for tomorrow. And that's what we're talking about today. It is here where evolutionary business thrives, where growth doesn't necessarily mean bigger for bigger's sake. It means learning to be the best version of the future that you hope to create. And that's what we're doing, folks. We're creating our future. You want a better future, you need to start creating it now. You know, you want a better future, start telling yourself that now. When's the best time to plant a tree? 30 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. Okay? We often see how far we've come. I can sit here and tell you how far I've come in the last 5 years. Besides the last 33 years of business, I can tell you how far I've come. But it's real difficult for us to say where we're going. We sometimes can't see that as well. Well, we can't see that as well because it hasn't happened yet. But the mind is powerful. The mind is strong. God made our mind like nothing else he ever made. The mind is powerful. And you can start seeing who you want to be and where you want to be and what you want to be doing. And if you can't see it, it will not happen. So where growth is, sky's the limit. It really is. The sky's the limit. Your future self will really thank you for taking the time to work on this now. So, number 1, we had work on quitting bad and useless habits. Number 2, figure out who you want to be and then create it. And then number 3 is work on your personal strategy shift. So we're shifting our strategy. How are we going to do that? Well, step 1 is to think and dream and see it. Like I just said, you've got to dream about it. You've got to think about it. And I spoke a few weeks back on talking about what do you tell yourself before you go to sleep at night? Or do you just go to sleep at night? But before you go to sleep, start seeing this. Start thinking about it. Because your mind does not sleep. It does not rest. It continues to work all night long. AKA dreams. But you start thinking about this and dreaming about it and talking about it to yourself before you go to bed, or writing it down in a journal before you go to bed. Extremely powerful. This is who I want to be. This is where I want to be. This is where my company wants to be. This is where my family wants to be. This is where my financials want to be. Or this is what I want. This is where I want to be financially. You got to think it. You got to dream it. You got to see it. You've got to make time for that, folks. It just doesn't happen in your day. It's actually creating a new habit. You've got to create a new habit and make time to dream it and see it and visualize it. And then number 2, you've got to clarify your values. Clarify your values. You can't neglect your family over the future because your family's part of the future. Lord willing, and everybody lives long enough, my family's part of my future. So I can't neglect them right now building my future when they're part of my future. So there's a fine balance of time spent on this, on your business, on your family, with God, etc. Okay? And number 3, create your mission statement. You need a personal mission statement. If you've got a business mission statement, good, because you need one. If you don't have one of those, you need one of those too, but you need a personal mission statement. I'm not here to tell you how to do that. You can Google that all day long and find 500 or 1,000 pages on how to write a personal mission statement. But you need a personal mission statement, and it doesn't need to be long. It can be a paragraph, it could be 2 paragraphs, it could be 1 page. It doesn't matter. Just make one and then look at it and tweak it and revise it. It's your mission. It's your mission for getting to your future self. You need a mission. And this strategy shift requires you to have a mission statement. And then here's something else you've probably never done. You may have never done this for your company, but it's called a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you need to do a SWOT analysis. That's a whole nother story on your business, okay? You need to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. But you need a personal SWOT analysis. And you need to know your personal strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Because you can't get to the next level without knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your opportunities, and then knowing your threats. It's critical. And then number 5, by now, you should have goals. You should have personal goals. And if you haven't done this, please write them down. Because again, it's something the mind goes to work when you write them down. It's proven time and time again that more goals get hit. More goals are made by people who write their goals down and then look at them periodically, if not often. And then number 6, I talked about this a few weeks back. Write a letter to your future self and explain what you are doing to get you to that future self. Powerful, folks. Extremely powerful. But this is risky. This is risky because very, very few people do these things. Very few people are concerned about their future self. So many people today, especially in small business that I coach, they're more concerned about putting out these little fires all day and having a little bit of growth and having a little bit of income. And to me, it's shallow thinking because they're better than this. You're better than this. and the opportunities are unlimited. And you're only tapping into a small percentage of the source. And it's available to you. But it's risky. And sometimes you have to prime the pump to get the water, which reminds me of a story. If you've never heard of it. There was a man who got lost in the desert. After wandering around for a long time, his throat was extremely dry, and about that time, he saw a little shack in the distance. He made his way over to the shack and found a water pump with a small jug of water and a note. And the note read, "Pour all this water into the top of the pump to prime it. If you do this, you will have all the water you need." Now, the man had a choice to make. If he trusted the note and poured all the water in, and it worked, he would have all the water he needed. If it didn't work, he would be thirsty and he might die. Or he could choose to drink the water in the jug and get immediate satisfaction, which most people look for today. But it might not be enough, and he still might die. After thinking about it, the man decided to risk it. He poured the entire jug into the pump and began to work the handle. At first, nothing happened. He became a little scared. He started to worry. But he kept going. And all of a sudden, water started coming out. So much water came out that he drank all he wanted. There was even enough to wash off and fill all his containers up. Now, what would you have done? And how comfortable would you have been with that risk? Or would you have just come for the instant gratification? Most of the time, the delayed gratification is the biggest reward, but very few people experience it. In a study, they asked 50 people over the age of 95 one question. If you could live your life over again, what would you do differently? And one of the top 3 answers that dominated the results, if I had to do it over again, I would risk more. The problem for most of us is we're afraid of failure. We're afraid of what other people might think if we fail. We're afraid of regret. Too often, by the time we wake up and realize there's more opportunity than we've experienced, it's too late. So the next time you're tempted to play it safe, ask yourself these questions. What am I risking by playing it safe? What do I stand to gain by taking this risk? And what do I stand to lose by not taking the risk? What should I do today if you only had a week to live? What would you do differently? Some powerful questions, folks. Some powerful questions. By the way, the man at the well had to refill. There was instructions that said, please refill the jug and leave it where you found it for the next guy. So we're priming the pump. We have to take a risk and prime the pump. And it'll give us all the water we could possibly need and then some. And then we refill the jug for the next guy. We pay it forward for the next guy. Just like someone did for us. And I'm glad other people have paid it forward for me, which has made my existing self much better than my previous self. And I'm glad that I have the opportunity, folks, because if you've listened to this podcast long enough, in November of 2021, I had a quintuple bypass, and I could easily have been dead at that time. Before that, they said I was having a heart attack, but I didn't even realize it. And I do challenge everybody over the age of 40 to go get a heart calcium test. They're about $99, and it will show you all the blockages around your heart. But I am thankful that I was given a second chance. And today, I have more energy and I have more motivation to plan and work for my future self than I ever have in my life. I wake up every morning excited to do this. So 3 things you must change for your tomorrow. Work on quitting bad habits, and then start forming new positive habits. And then figure out who you want to be, and then create you. And then work on your personal strategy shift. It's very important. Those are 3 fast things that I talked about today, but they're not easy. They're not easy to implement. But I went over it pretty fast, and I hope you gained something from this, and I hope I challenge you to do some of these things that I talked about today. I challenge you to do all of them, but I hope you do some of them. The SWOT analysis, the writing in the journal, the writing yourself a letter, taking time to think, taking time to dream, taking time to visualize your tomorrow. You're the only one that's going to do that. You're the only one that knows your past. You're the only one that knows your present besides God. You can see your tomorrow, and you can make it better than your today. So before we wrap up, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe below. You can also support this podcast by rating and reviewing on iTunes or your preferred listening platform. Keep listening. I'll do my best to keep challenging you. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram or Facebook at The Greg McAfee Show. No spaces, no underscores. Be sure to tune in next week when I bring you some more business growth challenges. Thanks for listening. And as always, carry on. God bless and have a great day.